environment was cleaned up over
First time I was
1,000.
hearing about this stuff. It was totally new to me.
Dealt with social impact consulting.
Daily commerce goes on.
One was a year of consciousness. So with that consciousness, we are going to see more action, more civic activism.
If you look at the rights and freedom of citizens to express themselves freely, that is deteriorating.
One of the major threats to the civic space in 2022 remains government, repressive governments and governmental action.
Advocacy is to influence social change in the positive direction.
Hello, everyone. How you doing? Giving a big shout out to those on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So this is the first Dev Sector series after a long while. I was a bit out of commission, but I am so excited to be back. This is so exciting. So it's good. Thank you all for being here. So if you're here live, please just put your name and where you're watching from so that I can give you a quick shout out, okay? In addition to that, please also like and share, because you know how the algorithm is, to show it to a lot more people. So again, thank you so much. And those of you who are watching after, thank you so much for watching. So this Dev Sector series, like many others, is brought to you by Social Impact Consulting. We're a development consultancy firm that looks to maximize social impact. For more details about our services and what we do to change the world, please visit www.socialimpactng.com. So I am very excited. We're getting to our special guest. So also, I know you saw in the intro, we had a couple of trailers. One is of Untold Impact. Untold Impact was actually launched in January earlier this year. I'm very excited, and my guests actually participated in the documentary as well. We're pitching it to a couple of film festivals. We've applied to the NGO International Film Festival, and we are applying to AFRIF as part of the shorts. So I'm very, very excited about that. So just keep us in your thoughts and prayers as we continue to put the work of civil society in the world map. Okay, so we are going to be having a special guest. You know, the elections happened March 3rd, February 25th. So we had our national and gubernatorial elections. And like I said last week, civil society organizations participated actively in the process of trying to, monitor the democratic process, right, in the elections. So now we have a new administration. The transition was done on Monday. So we want to now know what's next. How do we move forward? And the person that I'm going to introduce to you all is actually Gabriel Okeowo. He is the country director of BudgIT Nigeria. Okay. BudgIT is an organization that has supported social impact consulting from the very beginning. Once they saw my passion for the development sector, our passions aligned, and I am so thrilled about that. So again, we're going to be introducing you to Gabriel Okeowo. He is a friend, a brother, and he is a comrade in the sector. So I'm going to play his video bio and introduce him right back up. If you have any questions about our conversation, make sure you put it in the comment section so that we can have a robust discussion as we're going on here live about, what do citizens expect from the new administration? In fact, I got a kind of like a snapshot banner, from someone on one of my WhatsApp groups, one of the WhatsApp groups I'm a part of, with a snapshot of what they want to do. We get that every 4 years in terms of what each administration is going to do. The key is implementation. So we're going to have this conversation. Let me send his video bio, and then we're going to begin. All right, let's have at it. See you soon. Foundation Nigeria. Gabriel Okeowo is the country director of BudgIT Foundation Nigeria, a civic organization that uses creative technology to simplify public information, stimulating a community of active citizens and enabling their right to demand accountability, institutional reforms, effective service delivery, and equitable society. Gabriel is a social development professional with over 15 years of progressive experience in the NGO sector. His background is in behavioral science and an advanced degree in project development and implementation. He also possesses skills and certification in data processing and management information systems. Gabriel's experience cuts across social integration, human development, community development, health promotion, organizational development, and promotion of public sector transparency and accountability. Gabriel has led a number of development projects with international organizations, nationally and across African countries, with funding support from Global Fund, World Bank, EU, Dutch government, and other international foundations. Currently at BudgIT, Gabriel is responsible for the overall organizational strategy and for managing various department project teams in the organization, interfacing with donors, raising funds for projects, reviewing organizational plans and budgets, and overseeing brand visibility strategy. Allow me to introduce to some and present to others Gabriel Okeowo, Country Director of BudgIT Nigeria. Hi, Gabriel. How are you?
Hi,
Good to
Efwa.
see you.
Very well, thank you very much.
Okay, so again, as you can see, we have Gabriel live with us. We're live here on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So you're going to have audiences from all over social media. So again, thank you so much for joining us. It looks like I have a lot of engagement on YouTube. So I see Oluwadamilola Tejosho. And I see she says, Damilola, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Then I have Mrs. Ikeji Sylvia. Thank you so much for being here. And Mrs. Abimbola Olayinka watching from Abeokuta. So again, thank you all so much for joining us. So if you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, you guys, please give us a shout out. Let us know who you are and where you are watching from. So we are going to get back. We're going to go right into it. Again, Gabriel, thank you so much for joining us. In having this very, very important discussion on Dev Sector Series. So we are going to get right at it. Civil society organizations participate heavily doing national and gubernatorial elections. So we just want to us to get a sense of how BudgIT participated in the process. Now, note that sometimes I will get off screen, but it's okay, you know, for editing purposes. So you can just go ahead and answer the question, and then I can come right back as we're transitioning into the next question, or as we get in the conversation. So here we are.
All right. Thank you very
Did you-
much.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much for having me here. It's such a pleasure and good to have you back. I mean, we cannot underestimate your contribution to bringing life and visibility to the work that many civil society organizations are doing in Nigeria and beyond. So thank you for doing this and for your dedication to it. And yes, civil society election has come and gone. We are already in that new era, or what we would describe as a new administration, and it is that time for us to, prepare ourselves and see how to engage this new government. Civil society has been very critical to where we are in Nigeria today. We are saying this is about 24 years of unbroken democracy, and this may not have been so without the contribution, the work of civil society organizations, both local organizations, grassroots organizations, and even international organizations that are working in Nigeria. So we cannot overemphasize the contribution of civil society, and we need to continually be in that space where we hold engagement with government, where we galvanize the voice of citizens or amplify the voice of citizens to government. I believe that civil society is serving like a bridge, between government and the people. And when we narrow this down to BudgIT, the organization I work for, our role, the role that we play during the national and gubernatorial election, I believe many people would have seen the role that we play. But I mean, if they are not very informed, they may not know that was coming from BudgIT. I mean, there was a lot of expectations during the election on IREV. INEC had made a lot of bold and proud statements that the IREF was going to be live, it was going to be active, results are going to be, streamed live from polling units. We're going to be seeing that on IREF, and a lot of expectations were on IREF, and a lot of Nigerians were on that IREF portal on that day, expecting to be seeing live results, real time from polling unit, but that didn't turn out the way many of us expected it to be. However, our BudgIT, in our innovative and creative way, we had proactively prepared to also break the news of elections, election results. So we had made arrangements. We had officers in all the 774 local governments in Nigeria. They were on standby collecting the local government election results. So while we may not have released results at polling units level, we made plan and we had arrangements in place to get results at the local government level with evidence, which is that we have our officers in all the local governments in Nigeria, and they were mandated to send us the report at the point where the local government finalized their report, and that report is signed and stamped by INEC official, which means that all the parties have agreed to that result. They should take a picture of that result and send it to our situation room, which we did. And why IREF was not working, a lot of people would have been seeing live results from Civic Hive, election.civichive.org, and that was BudgIT. Civic Hive is a brainchild.
Yes, a lot of people saw that.
And we were thrilled ourselves that the effort we invested into that process paid off. We achieved our objective of wanting to break the news about results, not because we want to undermine the effort of government, but because we expect that while IREV will be releasing its own results, our own portal will also be releasing so that citizens have options. And then Ads can also serve as a validation portal for what is being released on IREF, all other things being equal, because we were clear in our mandate. We're only going to upload results that is extracted from local government signed result sheets. So, and that really play a lot of role, because a lot of people had to depend on that portal. At some point, we began to see politicians, even when results was being read out live at the information center in Abuja, we were seeing politicians right there making reference to our portal. At some point, we saw the, I believe he's now a former minister for works, announcing Babatunde Fashola putting showing a picture of him looking at the results coming from our civic hive portal. And so of course at that point there was a lot of misconception, because it was then thought as if we were working for APC, but it had nothing to do with any political party. It was an objective process. It's just that a party decided to rely on it, and I believe it was not only the APC that relied on that result. Other parties would have also been looking at it as a way for them to see what is happening in other areas of Nigeria. But more importantly, we are here. Our plan was to serve the general citizens, and I mean, I'm happy that we did that. We did that well. We did that, and we were glad also that we were able to contribute actively to the election process.
Yeah, excellent work. Civic Hive was really out there. I mean, and one thing I've noticed about BudgIT, you all have, I don't know, I think you guys have the secret sauce in terms of being able to communicate with the general public as a civil society organization. And that's how I think some of us, I mean, other organizations are still trying. Just a few of you guys that have been able to just get the secret sauce, in terms of just being able to communicate in a way that the public will understand, and using mediums that they can access. You go down to the grassroots. So it's not just putting fancy banners on social media. You all are also on the ground working, and I don't know, you guys have the secret sauce. So
so we call it secret sauce, but
the secret sauce
the art of our game.
I mean, it's really something. I mean, over the years I've just watched you all evolve, and it's what a lot of organizations struggle with in terms of, okay, we're doing great work, and we want to be able to, we want to have access to the people, and the people to be accessible to us. And you've successfully been able to do that. Before we go to our next question, I just want to give a shout out to some few other people. Some of our colleagues are here. Osai Ojigo is here from the UK. Thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate you. Then we have Itoro Epo. Thank you, from LinkedIn. Hi from Lagos. Hi to you too. And Olanike Timipa. Hi, lady. Thank you for being here. Okay, so we're going to go right to our next question. So now I think you already answered some of the question, this question in the first one in terms of what you all did. But can you just talk to us briefly of what some of your findings were in all the observation you were doing, like a general analysis of what you found after observing the elections in all over 700 LGAs in Nigeria?
Okay, I mean, while I, as a person and our organization, didn't have that official election observer status during the election. Of course, we are also Nigerians that participated in the elections like every other Nigerians, and our findings are going to be what I collected from my personal experience and experience of my other colleagues that were shared on our organizational group. And of course, the election maybe where we had a lot of hopes that we were going to have, an election that is far better than what we've had in the past. While some quarters you see a lot of politicians coming out to say, "Oh, this is the best election Nigeria has had in the recent time or ever." Some of us may not share that sentiment. Our expectation was far below, far above, what we saw at the election. The fact that technology was like the crux of this election, we're going to be using beavers, there was going to be transmission of live results and all that, and also knowing the power of technology, knowing what technology is capable of doing. We are taught that this election was going to be far better. We are taught that we were going to have, what is close to a free and fair election, but that expectation was punctured. It was not achieved in my unit. Yes, during the presidential election, there were a lot of turnouts. By the time we got to gubernatorial election, the turnout was significantly reduced by more than half. One would have thought that the momentum would be maintained, but perhaps because a lot of Nigerians were disappointed in the turnout of the presidential elections, that affected the turnout in the gubernatorial elections. Also, in terms of, I mentioned earlier on, expectations from INEC, the result was going to be transmitted live so that many people that are coming out for the first time to vote can have the confidence that really, really and truly that their vote counts. We didn't see that happening. And I believe that case is still in court. We don't know where it is going to end yet. General findings, of course, I'm based in Lagos. I have a lot of colleagues in Lagos that had a very ugly experience, their polling units. I have a friend that is a clear Yoruba guy. If you see him, you will know that this one is the Yoruba guy, but he was flogged back home because though he's a Yoruba guy, at his polling unit, he was told that they suspect that he's not Yoruba and that he's from a particular eastern state of Nigeria. He was actually whipped, as in to go back home. He called in crying. That is a father and a husband to somebody, crying that he was whipped because he was told that he looks like an Easterner and that he should go back to the East to go and vote in the East. I mean, a lot of that and several other ugly, experiences were observed during this election. We hope that we'll get it better in 2027.
Yeah, let's really hope so. That is, and I think there was Oludamilola echoed what you said here. She said it's the transparency for me that INEC could not give us, which is what was mentioned in terms of the IREV and with them things being uploaded in the BVAS. It's really something. But let's hope that things get better in 2027. I have my own very strong opinions about the work that civil society has done to advocate with INEC for more transparency. And what we saw, we just hope that we're able to, really redeem time in terms of all the work that has been done over the years with civil society organizations and the Electoral Act. So now that we have a new administration, budget over the years, you all monitor, you all demand for fiscal transparency and accountability in governance. I mean, it's just clear in the vision and the goal of budget. You started in Nigeria and now you all are all over sub-Saharan Africa. So what do you all generally expect, for a new administration to hit the ground running? And what do you look for? Because one thing I've noticed about budget is that budget provides tools for civic advocates to advocate for what is rightfully theirs. So what do you all look for in terms of what do you expect them to do, a new administration to do to hit the ground running that can adequately serve citizens?
Yeah, thank you very much. We have a new administration and every one of us is coming to terms with that, particularly, I guess, the ones that we all woke up to immediately. And I'm not sure we even have to wake up to it. I guess it was right there while the inaugural speech was ongoing. And the moment the president mentioned that, he is inheriting a budget that has already been passed into law before he comes into power, and to the best of his knowledge, that budget do not have provision for subsidy till till after, do not have provision for subsidy after June. Immediately he made that pronouncement that, so as far as this is concerned, subsidy is gone. I guess that was the first embrace, or that was the first reality that dawned on Nigeria. It took me hours to get to office this morning, not because there was
Yes.
real traffic on the road, but because practically all the filling stations have long queues that are now spilling over into the highway and then causing, traffic jam, and in some other places, reducing the pace of, speed on the express. And that's reality. I mean, new administration will always come with new ways, new style, and personally and as an organization, we are still watching. We are watching the body language of this new administration of the presidency, and all around presidency, to be able to know in what direction are we going, to know how will this administration work, how will it relate with Nigeria as a people. In terms of expectations, of course, we have expectation as an organization, as a civil society organizations, right? Even as the citizens, we have expectations. Our expectation is not far-fetched. Our expectation is not anything outside what we should expect. Democratic government is a contract, is a form of social contract where a group of us come together to aggregate our power and give it to one person on our behalf. So if we are coming together to give you our power, we expect you to use our power for our good. And the least that we expect in that contract is that you keep us informed with how you are, dispensing of the power that we had, collected and gave to you. So there's going to be a lot of expectation in how well this government or this administration is going to engage with us, how well they are going to feed us back, how well they are going to attend to the real needs of Nigeria. There is going to be expectation on how well this administration is going to unite us as a people, irrespective of who voted and who didn't vote for this, government. So a lot of expectation in terms of, Nigeria today. We are the economy is in a mess. Food inflation went as between 2015 and 2023. Food inflation went from about 9% to about 24%, right? That is far more than double the inflation rate on food. And if that is too big for anyone to understand, we can just take a bag of rice in 2015. How much was a bag of rice in 2015? About 8,000 naira. How much is a bag of rice today? About 20 something, 30 something. I'm not sure, but I believe it's far more than 20,000 naira. So it has gone double. What you used to buy, if you buy gari for 500 naira, or in 2015 today, the same quantity of gari today will possibly be going for about 2,000, right? And those are the reality. So our expectation, and with this pronouncement that subsidy is gone, which of course, is not as if it's this administration that made that provision. He inherited this provision, but he's coming now to implement it, and I don't have a problem with that. But what we know will happen is that in a matter of some days now, this is also going to begin to affect food. Is affecting transport already, right? And then by the time traders are going back to market to restock, right, all the cost of transportation from the farm to the factory, from the factory to the market, all of that is going to come on the cost of goods, and final consumer, the citizens are going to bear the brunt. So there is a lot of expectation on how is this government going to manage this? How are they going to manage the economy? How are they going to provide succor to the Nigerian people to cushion the effects of this harsh economic reality that we have found ourselves in, particularly food and basic social services. How is this government going to see to it that our transportation become very fluid? Transportation is not a big deal. With this new rate of PMS prices right now, we expect that a lot of people that are mobile, that have cars, may not necessarily be driving their cars again. They may
At
want
all.
to consider the option of public transport. How can we make more public transport available? How can we make our road, such that it's easy for us to drive in and to commute faster? How will they, shock all of these, absorb all of this shock on behalf of the citizens, such that we can reduce out-of-pocket payments for basic health needs, so that our schools can be good, so that if a citizen know that they are going to be spending more on transportation now, they can also get a succor that the more they are spending on transportation, they are going to be then paying less on out-of-pocket medication, or they are going to be paying less on education services to their wards, or they are going to be paying less on damages to their car due to bad roads. So all of those are expectations, and these are at the very micro level expectations from this administration.
Exactly.
There are a whole lot of expectations that we have from this administration.
Exactly. Because sometimes when I go to the grocery store, Gabriel, and they are ringing me out and I see my total, I have to go around to the cashier and say,
Exactly.
please, can you show me where I spent this money, because I don't see it. I mean, when you talk about the percentage of from 9% to 22%, that's insane. That is insane. That's over, God, that's over 100%. Anyway, this new administration has a lot to address, because when you look at COVID-19 was another issue with President Buhari, and then dealing with inflation and borrowing. When I picked this topic, I said, where is this man even going to start? You get what I'm saying? So before citizens start abusing him, he's inheriting a lot. So it's kind of, where does he even start from? Okay, so we're going to the next question. So now, as you know, there was a time I conducted a training with the Inclusive Friends Association. It was an advocacy training, and we're working on trying to really implement the disability rights bill and what have you. And one thing she said was that the Buhari administration was the most disability-friendly administration they had encountered. So that was really something that she mentioned. And this is a disability. That the Buhari administration was the most disability-friendly organization with regards to disability rights, disability policies, that they even have a senior special assistant for persons with disabilities within the administration. So, when you look at in other sectors of the economy and other areas, you may say, well, this is what the administration did not do. But you have a group saying, hey, he may not be perfect, but this is what he did for us. So now I was saying that to say, how does this administration further and deepen relationships with civil society organizations, to enhance democracy, to allay the public's apprehension on the way the election turned out, how they got elected? There's some apprehension there. So what do you think they can do to allay some of our concerns with regards to working with civil society organizations? And before you answer that, please, those of you who are here, thank you so much. I'm seeing a lot of engagement. Gabriel, the comments are buzzing. Thank you so much for that. Please, if you have any questions for Gabriel, again, to continue this conversation, please put it in the comment section, okay, so that we can continue this conversation. All right, thank you so much. So Gabriel, Back to you. That's the question
Yeah.
on how they can work with civil society organizations.
Yes, the civil society organization is an important estate in governance. And this administration, like every other administration, like you alluded to the Buhari administration with disability rights, I believe it was under the, the regime of the past president that act was also signed into law, and then embracing disability, embracing inclusion in general terms. So this new administration needs to also see civil society as an ally rather than set of people working against government. Civil society exists to promote good governance, whether it's a budget or is a connected development or is enough Nigeria. Whatever we are doing is to keep governments on its toes. And the earlier government begin to see civil society as an ally, the better for us, the better for even governance, because it will then ease a lot of load from them. Civil society has the capacity to help government to build trust and win the trust of the people, right? I see that this new administration, I'm already following them online. I see that they have established a media center for the presidency media center. I wouldn't know what they call it now. That's a good one to start with, which shows that there is now a media center that is, releasing information from the presidency to the citizens. But the expectation and hope is that that same group are also going to be active to take feedback and collect citizens' feedback back to the presidency, so that it can be a two-way interaction. Aside from that, we will expect that this government will be open to working with some civil society organization as an ally, as a partner. We need to see how we work together. If I take my mind back to the former administration, the Buhari administration, it was under the Buhari administration that the Open Treasury Portal was launched. And that Open Treasury Portal is the first of its kind. It's a portal where government of Nigeria, federal government of Nigeria, is now telling Nigerians, they are providing details to Nigerians, every contract, every payment that goes from our national treasury, from the tune of 5 million and above, right? That was very effective. That was good of government. Of course, the portal is not an end in itself. Organization like BudgIT has built another layer on that portal, on that federal government portal, called the GovSpend, and which can be on govspend.ng, right? We build another layer on it, so that today, sitting here today, if a public work is going on in your environment, maybe a road is being constructed, or a school or an hospital is being constructed, and you want to know how much have been allocated or how much have been released for on this project, you can go to govspend.ng and search for the name of that contractor, and it will bring it out. You will see all of those details, right? That is an initiative of past government, but they just didn't release that to the public and go to sleep. The president also put together a committee that also looked at, the first time that was launched, we were able to look into that portal, and we identify some loopholes that we saw on that portal. We saw a lot of payment to personal accounts. We saw a lot of payments without description, which could be loopholes for corruption. And we raised that up. We send it to the appropriate quarters. The presidency responded, put together a committee. In that committee, they also invited civil society organizations to be part of that presidential committee. BudgIT was part of it, CISLAC was part of it, to look at how can we remedy some of these loopholes that we identify now that we are releasing this kind of information to the public. Now, that is a case of government embracing and recognizing the role of civil society organization. So we hope that this new government will also do the same. There are a lot of areas that government and civil society organization can collaborate, right? Even with media. that they can collaborate. There is nothing that says that every 100 days or every quarter we can't have the presidency come on air to have a media chat, with the media.
Yes.
He can give feedback to the people that put him in power. I believe that our former president Buhari did that one or two times, but we didn't see a lot of that often. I hope that this government is going to be open to that kind of engagement, with the media, so that they can find an opportunity where citizens can even call in. As a president, don't just rely on what your aides brings to you.
Yeah.
Let's create an opportunity, a media chat, of course, that will be where citizens can have opportunity to call in, and they know that they are speaking directly to the president on a live show. That kind of engagement are what civil society organization can facilitate, right? And not just with the president as a man, it cut across all the other government officials or political appointees that are going to be occupying one position or the other. They should and they need to be open to embrace and work collaboratively with the civil society organization to enhance democracy in Nigeria.
And that makes sense because we already have NTA. So if they're going to NTA, I know there's channels Arise and AIT and other news stations, but even to drive more engagement on the National Nigerian Television Authority, just like in the UK, there's BBC, there's EBC, and what have you. You get what I'm saying? They can now also really increase the engagement of media in communicating the work that they're doing across the country. I think that is really, really something. But it really, I'm really glad you're sharing some insight in terms of how the previous administration engaged with civil society, so that we're also encouraging the new administration to further engage with civil society organizations. I know that, he was the governor of Lagos State, you get what I'm saying, and has a lot of influence in Lagos State. I know that to some extent, Lagos State, in their own way, try to engage with civil society. I think a more deliberate attempt to be able to do that would also be very, very helpful. So I'm just gonna put it to the comments. I put it on there to just say that, hey, if you have any questions, let us know. But I think Oluwadamilola she's really engaging here. She also talked about that it should even start with the local government chairman. So, like, for example, you get what I'm saying? If there are even town hall meetings on that level, that would even help. And then even echoing what they said in terms of leveraging the media to further engage with us. So, Gabriel, this was an excellent discussion. So what I am going to do, I think there was somebody said here, Vahelia Kwaja, he said one of the most important things that the new administration needs to do is put a cabinet together within 100 days. Fantastic. So I think that is within 100 days, because I know the last administration
we had under Buhari administration was well over 180 days.
It was a long time, and I think they started calling him Oga Go Slow. So hopefully this new administration will get his cabinet together so that they can hit the ground running. We are so far behind the 8 ball. So thank you so much. I just wanted to see if you can give us your final thoughts.
Yeah, thank you very much for this platform, and this is the right thing to do. Every one of us, a new government, we need to engage in our way. We need to engage. We need to begin to bring people together and begin to educate them on how to engage with this government. The same way we're expecting the government to engage with us, we also need to begin to create platforms to engage with the government. What we have done this morning, I believe we have been able to share some thoughts on what this new government needs to do. and what citizens can do. If anyone is conversant on TV right now, you see that even as an organization, as BudgIT, we're already on TV. We are putting an advert out that plays on channels TV 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. in the evening, telling Nigerians what to do. You have now elected, people into power. We now have a president. It does not end there. As a matter of fact, that the fact that the president has not been inaugurated and is in office just means that the president or the politician has achieved his own goal of gaining power. Now, the goal of the citizen is not just for that a politician gain power, is that they have good governance. And good governance will not just happen if you sit back. You need to leverage all platforms that is available for you to begin to engage with your government. And just like I think you said, Olu Adam Lola mentioned, when we are talking about engagement with government, our mind should not just be on the presidency, right? The closest government to us is our councillor. The closest government after councillor is our local government chairman. You have the local government chairman, you have your state representative, state houses of assembly representative, you have your National Assembly representative, both in the Senate and in the House of Assembly, House of Representative. You have your governors. All of those line of political office holders are people that we should be seeking to engage and not just put our mind on the presidency. These other ones also influence our life. They also influence governance. They also have a role to play in how well Nigeria succeed and how well we succeed in our democratic governance. So my final thought would be that every one of us should gear up and find ways to engage government from the local level to the presidency level. Thank you once again for this opportunity to be on the show.
Thank you so much, Gabriel. I really appreciate you. And I just want to thank you and your team for the great work that you all are doing. It's just, we need to just work really hard to be able to just engage with government. We can't just be pointing at the governor or pointing at the president all the time. We need to really start from the grassroots level. Again, thank you so much for engaging with us and just letting us know, how the administration can work, to address the myriad of issues that are on his table, and then also engaging with civil society so that it's not an antagonistic relationship. It's kind of like a more of a friendship. I just want to say a quick story before you go. We were doing a protest in Chicago, like downtown. We were protesting to the governor, that too many Black people are in jail, that we want interventions. We're actually just we had placards and everything. By the time we sent representatives to the governor's office they called us to do. We don't know what we're doing. We want to provide prisoner reentry programs, but we don't know where to start. Can you help us? So it was really, and we were thinking, come to think that we think you guys are not doing it. It's like, no, we want to do something, help. So it's like, there's nothing wrong with that. And, and you all, I'm sure you all have many stories in terms of how you've worked with various levels of government. And it's just really encouraging this new administration that, hey, we are your partners. This is our country. There's no other country we know. This is ours. Let us all work together to make a better nation. Again, Gabriel, you're my brother from another mother. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, take care.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah,
bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, hey y'all, thank you so much. As you heard from Gabriel Okeowo, who is the country director of BudgIT Nigeria. He is just really, really awesome, really, and like I said, BudgIT has gotten the secret sauce in terms of a civil society organization that can communicate with everyone. Oh my God, I see somebody said he's a first timer. I see Victor Austin Nweke. Thank you so much for joining us. And I see Fehin Ibiloye. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, thank you for joining us. Like I said, This episode of Dev Sector Series is sponsored by Social Impact Consulting. We're a development consultancy firm that looks to maximize social impact. If you want more information about what we do and who we are, please visit us at www.socialimpactng.com. Those of you on YouTube, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel and click on the bell notification, because we have Dev Sector Series every Wednesday at 12 noon, so you can be notified when we go live, so that you can like and share and know more about the development sector. Again, thank you so much for joining us, and let's change the world together. Take care and have a lovely and wonderful week. Bye-bye.